New York and on the new Hot 97 app. Ebro in the morning on Hot 97.
Ebro in the morning, Laura Styles, Rosenberg. Rhapsody is on the program. New album,
good morning,
Eve
good
out.
morning.
I saw the track listings and I was like, okay, all right. Every song's named after a famous woman. Okay,
Indeed.
Nina Simone,
Right.
Cleopatra, Aaliyah,
No,
Oprah.
not Cleopatra.
Oh.
Cleo from Set It Off.
Cleo from Set It Off. Excuse
on
me.
now.
Please, Ebro.
Well, you know why I thought it was Cleopatra? Because later on in the album you have Queen Latifah,
Yeah.
but she's not on Cleo.
Right. I let her choose. I sent her that Hatshepsut record. I sent her Cleo, and I let her pick what she wanted to do.
But then I was like, ooh, Egyptian pharaoh, Hatshepsut.
Yeah, Queen actually gave me the title for that one because I had something else.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah, I had Alien from Coming to America, Eddie Murphy's mom.
Oh, really?
The Queen of Zamunda.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, let's go with a real one.
Yeah. She said, let's educate people. And she told me who Hatshepsut was. I was like, oh, that's it then.
Oh, wow. So you learned that on this one.
Yeah, working with Queen on that record. Yeah.
And how was it easy to get Queen Latifah to come out and jump on this album?
It actually was easier than I thought. Like, once I was able to get to it, I got through it through Murs. Murs was in North Carolina working on his album with Ninth Wonder and the Soul Council. And he asked if we had ever worked together. I told him, nah, but she's always been on my list. I don't know how to even start to get at Queen. You can't tweet her. You can't do it like that. So he was like, I know everybody in L.A. Let me see what I could do. And he got in touch with her manager, Shakim. He connected them. She called Ninth just like that. And he connected her with me. And she called me probably every day for a week until I got to L.A. and we worked together.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for Murs.
Now, the album's
Good man.
called Eve. Just tell us your thought process going into it.
Yeah. Somebody enlightened me on what they felt like my lineage was, and they said I came from like Nina Simone and Roberta Flack. We all from North Carolina, different messages, soul music. So it just got my wheels to turning. It's like, man, like when I talk about who I'm influenced by, I speak about Lauryn Hill and Queen, but I also talk about Cicely Tyson and Felicia Rashad. So it's like, man, I know there are so many more women that inspire me. So it made me think, let me do a project that shows every extension of not only me, but I'm sure other black women in the show, that we're not monolith. And, there's a spectrum of who we are as women, and it all should be, respected and loved and appreciated. But just to shine light on that and how strong we are and different at the same time, but we all queens.
On the record, Oprah, you brought in LaKaylee 47.
Had to.
Love
So
LaKaylee. She's so dope.
we're big fans of LaKaylee 47, but talk about like why you chose her for this specific record and your relationship with her.
Yeah. First, I got onto her. I listened to her the first project I knew of, Washington. And then we connected at the 2017 BET Cypher. That's the first time we met. And I just loved her energy, her spirit, and she was dope. Like the rhyme, the way she does and sing, like I was on the floor. And then, of course, I followed her, and she dropped Acrylic. And I ran that project into the ground.
Right.
Like Top Down is one of my favorite records, CIAA. And I just loved her talent. Like she got the energy of like a Missy Elliott, but, it's still her own style and flavor. So when we did that record, if I put somebody on the features, because I feel like there's an energy missing that I myself can't bring, and it just fit. It sounded like her, so that's all I got. It's just like, man, there's nobody else that can rock this. Like I hear them rocking it like LaKaylee, and I told her I always wanted to work with her. So we just reached out.
It must be
That's it.
cool, this moment in time for you. Like, you're just such a classic hip-hop story of someone who just stayed on the grind for such a long time. Did you have a moment where you realized the work was like truly paying off? Like you're like, oh, this is feeling different than it's felt the first many years I've been doing this.
Right. I have different milestones that I check, but the one was Layla's Wisdom. That just felt different, the way it entered the world, being Grammy nominated. Just a reception from it. I felt that it was a big turn, as well as, the other milestones would be like being on Complexion with Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly, the DJ Drama She Got Game mixtape. Like it all came in waves, but the biggest wave for me was Layla's Wisdom, and that's when I saw the difference. It's just like it also showed me and validated for me that I don't have to change, and that there's a purpose that I served. It's just I gotta keep going and be exposed to more people. And be patient with it. So That's just what it
That's
was.
awesome.
A few months ago, Jermaine was talking about how, he's tired of all the women who are rappers only rapping about their vagina and rapping, acting like strippers or whatever I'm paraphrasing, probably misquoting him, but the point was that he's tired of one type of female rapper and the ones out here that ain't necessarily getting their props.
Right.
And at the time, I was like, I feel like Rapsody gets her props.
I
She may
feel
not
like
get
I
the
do too. Yeah.
she may not get the mainstream radio
Right.
play, but in culture, in hip hop,
I'm respected.
yeah. Like, so how did you take that in the moment?
Yeah, I wish that he approached that way different because, mainstream media, if that's the only place you look for hip hop, then yeah, that might be the only thing that you see. And still at the same time, these women are talented. Just because you don't like what they do, like they still have a talent and that's their story to tell, that's their life to live. So take that opportunity to shine light on a mainstream level on people that you do like. Like I thought that was an opportunity to do something different. Because we spend, like I say in every interview, so much time talking about what we don't like and this person that. Like, when you have the microphone and the time, like, just say a name. It don't take much. That could put somebody on in an instant.
That's
like,
what Cardi did with
That's
the
what
moment.
Cardi did with the moment. And, that's what you have to take. So I respect Jermaine, and I understand at the very core of what he was saying. But to use other women to put them down, that's never the move for me. Because I know there are so many. Like, it's a false narrative to say that. Like, you got to tell people, look outside of your TV boxes. There is me. There's Tokyo Jets. There's No Name. There's Lakaylee 47. There's Il Camille. There's 3D Natty. There's Kamaya. Like, I could go on and on and on. There's so many dope females, and we all different. Everybody don't sound like a Cardi. Everybody don't sound like a Rapsody. Everybody don't sound like a Megan. Everybody don't sound like a Lakaylee. So, just spread the word and tell people to do the research. It's there.
Were there other women that you were coming up with in your initial run who you thought were dope and maybe ultimately didn't make it, maybe moved on to other walks of life, but you thought were dope and they just didn't kind of get the same shot or weren't able to see it through?
Tina Apex comes to mind. She used to run with Joey Badass Crew. I don't know if she's still rocking, but I remember early on, like, I was excited about her. Let me think. I know Nitty Scott's still doing her thing, so I don't want to say like she didn't run.
Does Invincible from Detroit predate you starting?
Yeah.
Invincible was fire. There was just like I feel like there was a moment.
Did she stop? She stopped?
I haven't seen an Invincible record in a minute. I'm an asshole now if she just dropped a brand new
okay.
album. Yo, her album dropped yesterday. Fuck you, but my point
Do
is,
your job.
regardless
Jean
of what,
Grey. Jean Grey
yeah, with
is
Gina,
one.
and she's like, Gina's
But she's still
still
putting
here.
out music. But
Right.
Yeah, I love to see people get on the Jean. So I'm gonna just say her name in case you ain't never heard it. Just
Yeah,
to
Jean
say
Grey's
it, because
fire.
Jean Grey's
Jean
one of the
Gracie was
illest to ever
popping.
do it.
So let's just talk rap. People making a lot of lists out here. You know what I mean? I hand wrote a list. Rosenberg hand wrote a list. Some people put a list together, and then there was like no women present at all. Who are outside of just the women? Who are some of your biggest influences in rap in general?
And rap across the board. Jay-Z and Lauryn Hill at the top of that list.
Is Lauryn Hill a top 10 rapper for you? Top 20?
Yeah, without a doubt. I would definitely put her in my top 10, Even though people like she only put out one album and it's not all the
impact,
way
though, is
rapping.
That
Crazy.
album
The
changed
impact,
Plus
yeah.
the Fugees verses
Right.
and
That one album is better than some people's whole catalog, That and
Yes.
the way she busting on the score, like there's some people that still can't rap like that. So yeah, Lauren's definitely top 10. And when you that gifted, it don't leave you. Like you might not hear it, but I bet she's somewhere busting right now.
she's saying it very fast. Usually it's
yeah.
very fast and it's a remix of a song that
comes
you
different.
already love with, but she's going quick with it. She's spitting.
Yeah, Jay-Z, Lauren, of course, Nas, Biggie, Jay Electronica, he in my top 5. I'm inspired by Kendrick, of course.
Jay Electronica, your top 5.
Yeah, he's in my top 5 without putting an album out of MCs. I think when you can have an Exhibit C and that one song, again, is better than some people's whole albums. It's 2019, that dropped in 2009. We still talking about Jay Electronica. We still waiting on the album. So that just
The impact,
shows the
I'll
gift.
give you
like,
impact value.
But,
For sure.
That was such a rapper answer, though, and not a journalist answer. Because I just feel like you can't. He's so good, but without the body of work, like
I mean,
he's not a top 100 for me.
If you want to, you asked who I thought were top lyricists.
Oh,
And
that's a separate conversation.
That's different.
You can have
as
whoever you
MC.
kind of want.
I didn't clarify. I just
Yeah.
said
Yeah,
top
like,
for you.
that-
But
like,
yeah,
so
some
you-
people
just-
break
just
it
as
out as
MC,
rappers, MCs, lyricists,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
rest
you're
of
right.
the
Not
game.
not even to break it down like that. That's all the same for me. But like if you say greatest of all time, like yeah, body of work goes with that. But I know he can rap.
Yeah.
So just as a MC for his gift, yeah, he might not have a whole album, but all the verses and all the freebies he's had, like you could put all that together and you just know like he's one of the greatest to ever put words
Now
together.
you jumping out the window, top 100. He could get in the top 50, top 70.
Well, it depends what you mean. If you mean lyricist, you could have him as high as you want because he's a phenomenal lyricist.
That's what I'm saying.
So, but if you said body of work, I can't
That's
have a guy who
different.
never dropped his debut
That's
album.
different.
Okay.
In the,
All right.
that, but
that's
he's-
just how I separate it.
That's
different.
why I'm saying she was an artist answer because you're not thinking about what his body of work is as a
Think about his skill set.
Yeah.
skill set. You
Like-
could have Jay Electronica super duper high.
Exactly.
He's incredible.
When I
But-
hear him, I'm inspired. Like
Yes.
he makes me.
And he
wanna
has
top
purpose.
my- exactly.
That's the other thing that I think people don't. It moves you up on my list when you have purpose in why you exist in this game. Right? And I don't think people talk about that. They talk about hits, they talk about chart position, they talk about how many albums,
Right.
you know, how much time. But back to the Lauren point, it was purpose. It was
purpose.
purposeful. She was opening the mic with purpose.
Right.
Even you continue to have purpose,
Indeed.
right? Like you're putting together complete thoughts, bodies of work, perspective, pushing people to learn something. Like you're not just here for the sake of getting a bag.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which I think is something you fought for too. Like that's been a fight of yours, making sure that you became an artist and developed a brand that was about something.
Yeah, definitely. First and foremost, before I cared about fame, billboards, any accolades, I wanted to have a strong foundation. I wanted to impact culture and inspire because I felt like if you touch the people, then everything else comes with that. But first, you gotta touch the people and make sure that they'll wait around you. I don't have to put out a project every year because people will wait on me. You know, my stuff is not microwave. You know, it's steak and potatoes. So you know, that's what it was for me. Like really touching and inspiring people. And hoping to impact and move the culture in a way. Like, I got to give to the culture first. Everything else will come, but you got to make dope-ass music.
Yeah, I would say your music is more vegetables, water, and a healthy thing that's gonna save your life. Steak and potatoes. I mean, we gotta watch out here. People out here eating
She
too
means
much.
it's hearty, though.
God,
You're right.
yes.
It's filling. It's filling.
takes time to
Yes, all right,
digest.
got it.
I got that vegan meal. I make
No,
your
You're
skin
trying
clear.
to give people life. You're trying to
see,
save your life.
But it's tastier than that. You got to give her like it's at least some delicious
What you trying to
Chilean
say?
sea bass.
It's an
What you
impossible
trying to say?
burger.
What you trying to say?
Yeah,
That's
Impossible
what-
burger.
You trying to say
Impossible
vegan
burger.
ain't tasty?
Sometimes.
Nah, they got some fire.
Sometimes.
shit, bro.
I'll
No,
give you
they
that.
do. They have some flames too, for sure. But you were trying to make her vegetables and water. That doesn't sound tasty. Chilean sea bass with a nice,
Come on.
a little syrup.
I'm just saying she's trying to
That
save
living-
your life.
I'm
But it's
trying to-
delicious too. That's
Okay,
the point.
you can do that.
Don't bring me cold asparagus.
I didn't say it had
I
to be
don't want
cold. It
that.
could be steamed. You know what I'm saying? It could be sauteed.
Listen,
You know, put some Lowry's. Can you put Lowry's on asparagus?
Yeah, and, they're like, and for dessert, you
See,
get
here
a
we go trying
sorbet.
to kill ourselves again with all its seasoning and sauce.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say she's trying to
Nah,
live,
you're
baby.
gonna have some sorbet with a little bit of whipped cream at the end, like or
dig
you know
what I'm
some
saying?
fruit. It's a nice.
I will say, at least we're not arguing over chicken. At least we're not up here arguing
Yo.
over
and
chicken.
here you go bringing up
I
the
got
chicken.
that Popeye spicy. That's
So you're supposed to be above it,
Nah,
Rhapsody.
bro,
You're
nah.
supposed to be above the
You're
argument.
right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Rap, yesterday I was on
Unless
Twitter.
you got an endorsement, they cut the check.
Nah, not
I
yet.
don't even know people got a coupon.
You
out
right.
here. Anybody got a discount?
You right. Let me pull back. They didn't give me that lifetime of free chicken
Exactly.
yet.
So yesterday I was on Twitter and I saw a video of you celebrating your project, and it was a party and you were rapping all the lyrics to a Little Kim record, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the person that I was with was like, "Oh wow!" She was so surprised, right? But I'm like, "But why are you surprised that she loves Little
Exactly.
Kim? Little Kim is a feminist." And to me, can you just talk about what a hardcore album meant to you coming up, and how a person like Kim inspires you, and why people act like it's not a normal thing for you to embrace an artist that talks that shit?
Exactly. That's why I made this project. People want to put me in a box again. They really think I sit around and watch documentaries all day and just kumbaya. Like I'm very well rounded. Kim, what I loved about Kim, she was just different. Like she did what she wanted to do. She was hard. She didn't care about nothing. Like I'm a rap about the nastiest thing I want to, like whatever Kim felt like doing, she dressed how she wanted to dress. You know, she just, when you saw her, she was a force. Like, she was her own person, and that's what I appreciated. But the music was hard. That's what I like. The music was hard. Like, she came on it like a straight nigga. Like, you know, like, but she was still very feminine at the same time. And that's what I appreciated. Like, she's still a woman, but she coming for your neck. Like, she busted hard. Like, the records were just dope. You know, and that's you know, we all got a little bit, like,
Of course.
you know, I don't show it all, but when I'm home, I show it to myself. You know what I'm saying? So it was just fun. I just like dope music, no matter what you rap about. You know, I listen to Snoop Dogg's Doggy Style. You know, I listen to DMX. I listen to Biggie. They talked about killing people. I don't kill people, but you know, I rap to it. So it's just dope music. Like,
I think people oftentimes conflate being intelligent and wanting to choose the path of teaching people something and uplifting, that those individuals don't also party
Exactly.
Or can be
wild
sexual.
in the bedroom, sexuality, you know what I'm saying? And it's for men and women, by the way.
Across the board.
You know what I mean? But I think more so for women, it's like there's this either or.
Right.
Absolutely.
Like, you gotta choose.
Right.
Like, no, I don't have to choose. I can be aware and I could talk about things, and I could also know how to turn that off and go party. Like, nobody wants to listen to me 7 days a week. Like, that's not real life. Like, some days, you know, you might talk about some heavy things in a song and might watch that, but that joint is depressing. Like, you gotta go let loose and go party. Like, that's the balance of life, yo. You just gonna be an angry person, and I ain't like that. Like, I'm just me.
Yeah, people don't want to turn up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, you know, you could be the most righteous person. You weren't trying to listen to Fear of a Black Planet on Saturday night at 10 o'clock at a
I'm trying
party.
to shake it or put my butt on somebody. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Right. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Didn't expect you to say you was going to put your ass cheeks on somebody.
I do
Since
put
you
my
talk about
butt on
putting ass cheeks
somebody.
on
I like
somebody.
Juvenile, back that ass up. What are you talking about? From North Carolina. Man, I grew up on go-go and all that.
Right.
It is what it is.
Which of these titles was the hardest to come up with? And what happened first, right? Because in listening to the records, you know, you don't automatically understand off top why the song is titled what it is.
Exactly.
So how did that come together?
I wanted to do something that kind of was an idea, if anything. This wasn't about a history lesson, you know. This was showing that, for one, about the spectrum, and two, showing people that, again, like, for me, you can't box me in. Like, I encompass all these women. So, you know, like an Aaliyah, I wanted to talk about being a tomboy, you know, but in a creative way. So people look at me and they're like, you know, oh, you dress that way, you ain't gonna never make it. That ain't sexy. Only sex sells. When I came up in a time when one of the sexiest women on the earth was Aaliyah, and she wore baggy jeans and fly sneakers and baseball caps and Tommy Boy. So it's just like, I could talk about me being a tomboy and name it Aaliyah and just think on a different idea level. So it was just a way of me, without having to make it a school lesson, but to still bring light to these women's name and to showcase who I am, like, to cover a spectrum of things.
So let me see if I was in tune. Ibtihaj came out first, right?
Right.
So then you had Jizza on it. So I was like, Ibtihaj, she's a swordswoman, right?
Come
Boom,
on with
sword.
it, Bus.
Yes.
Then you got Jizza,
Liquid
swords.
Swords. Come on,
boom,
fam.
Boom.
I was there.
You were there.
That wasn't that.
But that's the only record that I
You didn't know
name.
that. You didn't put that together.
No. But the second you said Ibtihaj, and the second I thought of who Ibtihaj was in Jizza, I went, oh, Liquid Swords.
Yeah. That's the only
Listen,
one
you got-
I
I
named.
did the work, though.
No, you did the
I
work.
did the knowledge,
No, you
though.
didn't. You're on your paper. You see the work there. I see it.
You saw it. I
saw
showed
work.
the
You gotta
work,
show the
baby.
work. Gotta show the work.
Yeah, but that's the only one I didn't name. Ninth titled that one. So conceptually, I didn't even have a concept. I just wrote. But it still worked because it's Liquid Swords, she swords, and we both confident and unwavering women in that way. So, you know.
Do you have, as an MC in this game who clearly cares about her craft, cares about, you know, the culture overall,
Right.
how does Rapsody want to be remembered in this game? How do you want, you know, when you're putting in work and you're like, look, I've showed up with purpose, right? In there has to be how you want to be seen by the culture,
Yeah.
right? That's a lot of, you know, I do that every day. Like when I'm up here, I feel responsible for covering certain topics, handling things a certain way, because hip hop has provided all of us this great opportunity, and I feel like we have a responsibility to take care of it.
Right.
How does Rapsody look at herself?
Man, I just, for one, I want to be one of the greatest to ever do it. And to show people that your gender cannot stop you from doing that, and cannot define you. So I want to inspire, if anything, women and little girls to, like, never let your gender box you in, like, to walk in your light, to be yourself, to be truthful, to be honest. And, you know, you don't have to conform to anything. So at the core of it, that's what I want to do. I just want to inspire and be somebody that shifted the culture and impacted in a way, especially for women, to show that, yo, like, don't get it twisted. You know, you can't separate us as other than or treat us as less than. Like, I know I'm one of the best to ever do this. You know, I work too hard to not gain that respect, and I know what I'm gifted with. So that's what I want my legacy to be, impact, especially for women in hip hop, if anything.
The record with J. Cole, you know, you got North Carolina on that, the Carolinas on that.
Yep.
You now have a new Lil Brother album that just dropped, which is incredible. The Baby's on fire.
Right.
Dreamville just...
YB and Corday.
YB and Corday, right?
Yeah.
Wait, is Corday from the Carolinas
He's from
too?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Really?
Kinda.
Okay.
I mean, you know, he claims DMV, but it's cool. We'll let you live.
Nah, he claimed Raleigh.
Really?
Yes, he does.
Really, Raleigh?
Yes, he does.
I don't know about
YB and
that.
come on and set
no.
set the record
No,
straight.
we kind of
Anyway, where I was going was somewhere positive, which is just about Carolinas and the
Right.
Carolinas putting on North Carolina specifically.
Yeah.
How are things feeling in North Carolina?
It feels good. You can feel it bubbling. You can see, like, people are really starting to take notice that, you know, people thought because, you know, we weren't a huge city like a LA or New York or Houston that, you know, oh, what they gonna talk about being country? Like, nah, we got some spitters. Like, we situated in the middle East Coast. It feels like we the mecca, the melting pot of
mix.
so much.
It's a
Yeah,
mix.
like, you know, when the runners, drug dealers was hitting 95, they had to drop the music off. And the same from Atlanta. Like, we got it all and we were inspired by it all. And I think, you know, like any creative process, when you have that much inspiration, you only creating beast in this whole market. So that's what I love about the talent from North Carolina. You can get some of anything from there, and it's gonna be different, but it's gonna be dope.
It's a lot like Virginia in that regard,
Yeah.
right? Where you have you got the club, country, hood, street shit,
Well,
but you
it's
also got the
everything.
spitters and the knowledgeable.
All of
you
that.
They're
know,
so similar. I mean, location-wise similar, culturally similar, South, but higher up in the South.
Right.
Both have like that slight DMV influence into both. Like you even mentioned
you tried to
Go-Go.
take
the
No,
credit
I'm not.
again.
I'm honestly not, because actually Virginia, maybe not North Carolina. North Carolina's close. Virginia's definitely been more successful than the DMV. So let me not even. I'm not trying to act like, oh, you try to
Musically, you're saying,
Yes,
like the
I mean,
artists.
DMV has really been a struggle to really get to have some of the success that even people from the Carolinas have had.
Yeah.
We've had Wale. Wale's been carrying the flag for a very long time, and there are tons of other big names who have grown in DC. I just mean culturally. It's more
Right.
than that. Like, it's little shit. It's really small shit, honestly, but like, it's probably changing now because we suck so bad, but even my whole life growing up, the Redskins were rooted for in deep Virginia, North Carolina.
North Carolina, I'm a Redskins fan.
Yeah, and like there are these cultural things that really continued, you know, all the way down, and even with the HBCUs in Georgia and
Yes.
North Carolina, a lot of people from DC. So there has always been that connection, which is sort of interesting, I think, and that's why she tried to steal YB and Corday just now. You know,
Nah, he's ours, bruh.
I mean,
I'm
it's
sorry.
sad. It's sad to see it.
I'm
but
sorry.
I don't
you
want
know.
to talk about Rhapsody's fandom. She's a Duke fan.
Why you? Well, that's the greatest college team ever.
It's Knight's
What are
fault.
we talking about?
Honestly, it's Knight's fault.
No, it's Grant Hill's fault.
It's Grant. Oh, really? It
I am
started
a
back
Duke-
then.
Bruh, I am
Grant
not
Hill?
a fair weather fan.
And where's Grant Hill from, by the way? Virginia. Full circle.
Shout out to Grant Hill. Yeah, I've been a fan since Grant Hill.
You realize how crazy it is, though? Like, ninth to me, I didn't even realize you were a Duke fan, too. You, too. I mean, both of y'all are like pillars of blackness. And then you root for the whitest fucking
No,
school
you tripping.
in
You
the
don't know
world.
history. You don't
Okay,
know the
give us
history. You don't know the history of the Dukes and how much they were a big part of Black Wall Street and Durham, and that you have North Carolina Central because of Duke and what they invested in that school. So you don't know the history.
You had it.
Duke
Wait,
is
who are the
black.
You put together a good This is a good story that you
Who are
guys.
the Dukes?
I believe you, but
I don't know the first names, but the Dukes were.
It's a family.
It's a family. Yeah.
So how come they don't have more black students that go to
I didn't mean the whole. I just meant black people on the campus.
They have people of color. They got more
Asian.
people. They have more people of color than UNC.
listen.
Oh, you tried to go for Chapel. You got to go for Chapel Hill.
You know, what I'm saying? Every time it ain't right if you don't.
No, it's
like
fair.
the
Wait,
Lakers
what's
in
going on in
Boston.
Chapel Hill?
No, just that Chapel Hill. Carolina's
Oh.
super white too. I mean, North Carolina is
Okay.
not a pillar of diversity
Got it.
either.
Got it.
I know Duke does put in their efforts. It's just for me, it's probably just cultural. The way we think of Duke, you just picture.
See, all I had was the fact that I used to turn on TV back in the day, and they were like all of these white kids that were like Ivy League, but they were in the South, and they was always
Indeed.
like the white fans was going for them, and me and my family was going for UNLV. That's my only.
No, it's true. Well, no, you could. There was UNLV, there
Fab
was
Five,
Michigan.
yeah.
It was always a black team, and then there was Duke. But now
That's
it's funny.
all I know.
But it is funny too, because even from a basketball standpoint, the image that you have of Duke players from the past and now is totally different.
Totally different.
Yeah, that's true.
They look like a very different team too. Coach K has embraced, one and dones now. So you're getting.
And then you have the Cameron crazies, and they be doing
They're
these
annoying
things
as
where they're
hell.
pointing at
They
people
so
with their
fly.
arms
Shout out
like
to the
this.
Cameron
They're
crazies.
fly?
They so fly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I
Can
love
you,
it.
this
I love
thing
it.
with where they be pointing.
No.
A bunch of white kids doing that to a black kid on the free throw line just look crazy.
With their faces
bruh.
painted
They
too.
They do that to
Dressed up as
everybody.
devils.
Don't do
And the
that.
devils. The
Not
devils.
like that.
The blue
Come on,
devil,
cuz.
the Caucasoid
Not like
turd.
that. Not like that. Not like
Why
that.
you
Don't
gotta
do
go
that.
there?
Don't
Oh
do
my
that.
God.
Come on,
All
bro.
right.
Swing back.
All right,
Take a
sorry,
U.
sorry.
Take a U. Don't
Take
do
a
that.
U back to Eve Street.
Yo, get Rapsody's album, man. We love you. We're proud of
I
you,
love
man.
y'all.
Amazing.
Keep
Thank
going.
y'all.
Keep fighting that fight, man. Give it up, Rapsody. It's
Thank
one that
you.
empty eyes right now.
Hey.